guys, it's Leandra, and today I'm coming at you guys with a special video. I am going to be taking the MBTI or Myers-Briggs personality test for Rose Hathaway. For those of you who don't know, Vampire Academy is my favorite book series of all time, and I'm also currently studying psychology. The MBTI Myers-Briggs personality test is something that I've always been very fascinated with just because it's been very, very accurate in describing me as a person as well as other people that I know. So I figured I would combine two of my favorite things and take the MBTI personality test for Rose Hathaway. So the MBTI or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is able to classify people into 16 different personality types. You're measured on 4 different types of scales, which then make up the 4 different letters in your personality type. So I am ENFP, which means extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. The 4 different types of scales that you can be measured on is either extroversion or introversion. It measures how we interact with our surroundings, whether we are more outwards turned or whether we're more inwards turned. The second letter can either be N for intuition or S for sensing. This describes how we see the world and how we process our information. So people who are more sensing, they tend to be more down to earth and very practical, whereas someone who is more intuitive tend to be more imaginative and open-minded and curious. Then we come to the third letter, which is either F for feeling or T for thinking. This letter tells us about how we judge certain situations and how we cope with them. So someone who is more thinking oriented tends to be a lot more rational and logical, whereas someone who is more orientated towards feeling are people who might prioritize emotions and how people feel over logic. And last but not least, we have the last letter, which can either be J for judging or P for perceiving. And this letter tells us about our approach to working, planning, and decision making. Someone who has a J for judging tends to be a lot more rigid and structural and organized, and someone who has a P, so perceiving, have a lot more of a flexible and adaptable lifestyle, and they tend to go more with just like how they feel in the moment and not like stick to a specific schedule. I was actually inspired to do this video to a certain extent by Emma from Emma Books because she did a book recommendations video where she recommended different types of books for all 16 personality types, and I thought that was so cool. That kind of gave me a bit of inspiration for this video. I will definitely be leaving her video linked down below so you guys can go check it out if you are interested in more MBTI stuff, and also just to see how she sort of gave different personality types different books, which I thought was super awesome. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the MBTI personality test for Rose Hathaway. I'm not going to be doing the actual test because the actual test has a lot more questions. I'm going to be doing the one on 16personalities.com, which is a lot shorter. I think it takes about 10 minutes or 12 minutes to do. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I'm also going to be linking the link down below to this website where you guys can go do your personality type. On this website, the questions are given on a 7-point scale, so you can go from agree to disagree with a neutral category in the middle. I'm going to be telling you guys which category I choose for each question, and then hopefully we can see whether this questionnaire or whether the personality type that we find out for Rose Hathaway is quite similar to how we perceive her as readers, or whether or not. I will give a spoiler warning before I say something super spoilerish, so don't worry. Right, so the first question is, you find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people, and I'm going to have to go with highly disagree with that one because I feel like Rose Hathaway is a very, very big people person. She doesn't seem like someone who would be very scared of going up to people and being like, hey, what's up, I'm Rose, or whatever. So yeah, I gave a strongly disagree on that one. I went all the way to disagree. You often get lost in thoughts that you ignore or forget your surroundings. I actually feel like she has that sometimes, so I'm going to go with the first like agree out of the 3 like different types of agrees. I think that Rose, she's very, very distracted sometimes by her thoughts, especially as the series continues and she goes through a lot of like traumatizing things. So yeah, you try to respond to your emails as soon as possible and can't stand a messy inbox. That is actually a good question. I don't know. I think I would have to go with slightly disagree with this because I feel like Rose Hathaway wouldn't really give a shit about her inbox, but also I feel like she wouldn't really get that many emails in the first place, so who knows. You find it easier to stay relaxed even when there is some pressure. I'm gonna have to go with agree with this. She has been through so many situations where she's managed to stay relaxed. You do not usually initiate conversations. I'm gonna have to go with strongly disagree. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity. No, I'm gonna have to go with the second disagree here because she's definitely done some really stupid and crazy things just out of the curiosity. You feel superior to other people. I would say that maybe at the beginning of the series, she felt kind of like this superiority, but I would have to go with maybe slightly disagree because I feel like as the series progressed, she has learned she's become a lot more humble, and I don't think she necessarily sees herself as more superior all the time. Being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. I'd have to go with strongly disagree with that. I feel like she is a very adaptable person. You are usually highly motivated and energetic. I'd have to go with agree, the second one. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. I have to go with disagree. I think that Rose Hathaway would definitely care more about winning a debate than about people not getting upset. You often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people. I'd have to go with slightly disagree. I don't think she's necessarily someone who feels like that all the time. Your home and work environments are quite tidy. We don't really know that much about her dorm room. I don't think her dorm room is like especially tidy or untidy because I don't think she has that many things. So I'm just gonna go with the neutral category on that one. You do not mind being at the center of attention. That is very true. You consider yourself more practical than creative. I definitely agree with that. People can rarely upset you. I would have to go with disagree, the first one, because there have definitely been some people who have hurt her in the books, especially Mbti. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. I'd have to go with very strongly disagree because as we all know in the 4th book when she travels to Siberia, she does not have a plan whatsoever. It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. I'd have to go with slightly agree with this. I think that she's not that good at picking up people's feelings. Your mood can change very quickly. I'd have to go with slightly agree. I think there were some moments in the book where she did go from like being really, really happy to really, really sad because of certain things that were going on, but I don't think she's like super like mood swingy or anything like that. In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. I have to go with absolutely agree. She definitely cares more about the truth. Okay, maybe I'll do it like the second one, not the first one, because there are moments where she does care about people's sensitivities, but I would think that usually she would be more geared towards telling the truth. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. She does worry about it, like a tiny bit, especially in the 2nd book with Mason. She cares a lot about Lissa. I'd have to go with like maybe slightly disagree. She does definitely care about how she affects other people, but well, I don't know, I'll do the neutral category in this one. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than a methodical and organized approach. That is very true. I'm gonna have to go with slightly agree, or the second one of the agree. You are often envious of others. You know, I'm actually gonna have to go with agree a tiny bit because I feel like especially in regards to her relationship with Mbti, she does sometimes feel very envious of, like, for example, people who are older than her, or maybe even the Moroi who can make their own decisions and are not like bound by, you know, the duty that you have to have as a Dhampir. An interesting book or game is often better than a social event. I think disagree. I think she likes social events quite a bit. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is the most important part of every project. I'd have to go with slightly disagree. I think she's a lot more random, I suppose. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. I'd have to go with disagree. She definitely has a lot of fantasies and ideas, which she then also carries through. You often find yourself lost in thought when you are walking in nature. I'd have to go with agree. If someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. I don't think she's like that. I think I'd have to go disagree. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. I have no idea. Rose Hathaway obviously doesn't think about children, so I'm gonna have to go with neutral. You do not let other people influence your actions. I would disagree with that. She definitely has let other people influence her actions, especially Mbti, Alyssa, Mason, people like that. When you sleep, your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events. Yes, I think definitely, especially when those spirit dreams have come in. It does not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities at your new workplace. Agree. You are more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Agree. Your emotions control you more than you control them. I'd have to go with strongly disagree because I do feel like she controls her emotions very, very well. You enjoy going to social events that involves dress up or role play. I would say agree with that. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas. Agree. You would rather improvise than spend time coming up with a detailed plan. This is actually a very, very interesting question because in a way she does love having randomness in her plans. Like, she definitely doesn't always come up with a plan, but then in book 5 in Spiritbound, spoiler, when they get Victor Dashkoff out of the prison, they do actually come up with a semi-detailed plan, but I'd still say that it's quite random in its sort of like details. So I don't really know whether she'd rather improvise. I don't think that she would rather improvise, but I do think she improvises a lot. So I'd have to maybe just go with neutral for this one. You are relatively reserved and quiet. No. If you had a business, you would find it difficult to fire a loyal but underperforming employee. I'd say yes, a tiny bit. You often contemplate the reason for human existence. I don't think she does. She talked about like religion maybe once, but other than that, I don't think she really cares. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. I'd actually have to go with disagree because a lot of her decisions are made from her heart, especially when it comes to Dimitri and Lissa. Keeping your actions open is more important than having a to-do list. I'd have to say agree. If your friend is sad about something, you are more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. Disagree. She would definitely suggest ways to deal with the problem. You rarely feel insecure. She feels quite confident, so I'd have to go with yes. She doesn't really feel that insecure. You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it. I have no idea. I have to go with neutral. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. I don't know. The thing is about Rose Hathaway's, she does know when to be cooperative. She knows that it's very important for Dampier's to be cooperative, but then again, she also has had moments when she took the lead. She definitely felt like her way was the best way, and I do feel like generally she does maybe like being right more than being cooperative. You think that everyone's opinions should be respected regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. I have to go with neutral. I can't really think of an answer for that. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. Yes. You frequently misplace your things. I don't think she really does misplace her things. You see yourself as very emotionally stable. I don't think she sees herself as emotionally stable, but yeah. Especially not after she starts seeing those thingies in After Shadow Kiss. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans. Yes. You would not call yourself a dreamer. She's kind of a dreamer, I suppose. I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe... I don't think she would call herself a dreamer though, so no. You usually find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. No, I don't think she's really that nervous. Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination. That's true. You worry too much about what other people think. I don't think so. Your room is full, you stay closer to the walls, avoiding the center. No. I think she would go to the center. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there is not enough time to do everything. I don't think so. I don't think she'd procrastinate. You feel very anxious in stressful situations. No. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. I don't know. I don't think Rose like wants to be powerful. I do think she genuinely wants to be liked, so I do think that she would rather be liked. Yeah. You have always been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things, e.g. books, art, or movies. She doesn't really read. She doesn't really care about art. I don't know about movies, so I'd have to go with disagree slightly. I don't think she's that interested in unconventional and ambiguous things. You often take initiative in social situations. Yes. Okay, so we got our results. She is an ESTP, so she is extroverted, she is sensing, she is thinking, and she is perceiving. She got 90% extroverted, 10% introverted, 46% intuitive, 54% observant or sensing. Then we have 53% thinking and 47% feeling. So that's just kind of on the border. And then we have 32% judging and 68% perspecting or perceiving. So this is the entrepreneur personality type. So entrepreneurs always have an impact on their immediate surroundings. The best way to spot them at a party is to look for the whirling eddy of people flitting about them as they move from group to group, laughing and entertaining with a blunt and earthly humor. Entrepreneur personalities love to be the center of attention. If an audience member is asked to come on stage, entrepreneurs volunteer or volunteer a shy friend. Theory, abstract concepts, and plotting discussions about global issues and their implications don't keep entrepreneurs interested for long. Entrepreneurs keep their conversation energetic with a good dose of intelligence, but they'd like to talk about what is, or better yet, to just go out and do it. Entrepreneurs leap before they look, fixing their mistakes as they go rather than sitting idle, preparing contingencies and escaping clause. That is so true for Rose. I definitely agree that she leaps before she looks. It also says they are the likeliest personality type to make a lifestyle of risky behavior. That is quite accurate. So yeah, they live in the moment and dive into the action. They are the eye of the storm. They like drama, passion, and pleasure, not for the emotional thrills, but just because it's so stimulating to their logical minds. They are forced to make critical decisions based on their factual, immediate reality in a process of rapid-fire, rational stimulus response. That is really, really true. That's actually really true. Rules were made to be broken. They have a unique skill in noticing small changes. That's actually pretty true. That is actually pretty true. They are full of energy and passion, complemented by a rational, if sometimes distracted mind. So yeah, I would say that's really true. So strengths and weaknesses. So strengths are they are bold, they are rational, practical, they are original, perceptive, direct, and sociable. And weaknesses is they are insensitive, impatient, risk-prone, unstructured, they may miss the bigger picture, and they're defiant. I definitely agree with all of these weaknesses. I wouldn't say that Rose is particularly insensitive. I think she can be insensitive, but I don't think she is all the time. Then romantic relationships. In relationships, it says that they are not going to be pining away for their wedding day because life is fun and full of surprises, and they enjoy to be in the here and now, which is exactly how I would describe Rose's relationship with Dmitri. They are very, very much in the here and now. They take the moments that they have and they don't pine for more. I mean, Rose obviously does want a better relationship with him, but she's not like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And that is also something that I really, really like about her. Then, what about friendships? Friendships, it says they are the life of the party, they love spontaneity, they have a great imagination, they are never boring, they're fun to get along with, which, yeah, is exactly how I would describe her as well. Parenthood, ooh, what does it say about parenthood? They like hands-on activities, and their children aren't left wanting for someone to play catch with. So she would be a very, very active mama who would go and actually do stuff with the kids, which is really cool. Career paths. They think on their feet, are great at making decisions. They have social intelligence, and they don't like rules, highly structured environments, or restrictions, which is very, very, very accurate when we're looking at the sort of restrictions that are placed on the Dhampirs and how much Rose is sort of trying to fight against that, which is really cool. I think that the ESTP personality type was actually really accurate in describing Rose Hathaway. I don't know whether I answered all of the questions in a sort of proper manner. Some questions were quite hard to think about, especially because there weren't like any practical examples in the books, but I do feel like this personality type, ESTP, is very, very accurate in describing how I see Rose Hathaway and how I perceive her to be as a character. So I do think that this test was right, and I would be very interested in seeing other Vampire Academy characters, personality types, and seeing, or maybe even from other books. I thought doing this was very fun. Let me know down below if you enjoyed watching this video, whether you thought that the ESTP personality type was accurate in describing Rose Hathaway, and whether you would like to see me doing more of these kinds of videos where I take certain types of quizzes for characters to see what would come out. I will also be leaving the ESTP information down below of the entrepreneur, so you guys can actually go see the personality type and see for yourself whether you think that this personality type matches Rose Hathaway. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I bring videos out every Wednesday, and I hope that you guys are having a great day wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Bye!